Mic check, 1, 2. Hot takes. There we go, thank you. Can we actually turn down these lights, whatever these are? They're blinding. Who here has seen the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey? Raise your hands. 1, 2 people.
I saw the jumper scene.
3 people. Okay. Oh yeah. Y'all probably seen the one where he's sitting on the window. Some guy's trying to jump, and he sings a song, and he gets that ledge, my friend. It's a great scene. It's a great movie. But for those of you who haven't seen it, basically, Jim Carrey plays a bum, really a bum. He's doing nothing with his life. Wakes up, goes to work, comes back home, watches Netflix, eats junk food, doesn't say yes to going out with friends, basically does nothing. And then one day he's on his lunch break, working at the bank, and an old friend walks by, and his friend's, it's small talk, and his friend's telling him about this conference he went to a year ago. It was a yes conference, and how the word yes changed his life, and all these crazy experiences and stuff. And then Jim Carrey says yes, and it kind of shows his journey with that. So in a way, the heart of this message is based off that movie. But I want to be more focused on what it means to be a yes man or lady to God, and what it looks like to be obedient by taking the opportunities He has placed in front of you. So to set the tone, I want to give an example. Now, some of you have heard this story. Some of you are part of this story. And I have good news for you. If you've heard it, you get to hear it again. So this all started basically about November of last year, so pretty much around the same time. Residency was opening for Gateway. So Gateway's internship, which Sophia, Nadia, and John are a part of this year. Give them a round of applause. Yeah. So basically in November, there was talks about, the applications opening up, and I was just praying for basically permission to pursue. Do I apply for this or not? Because it made a lot of sense, but that was something I was trying to practice, permission to pursue. So what I got back was, no, don't apply. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting, God, because it makes a lot of sense. I'm here 4 days a week already. It'd be nice to get paid for it. And so I got no, and I asked why. He said, pursue music instead. And so I was like, okay, that's fair, I guess. But it wasn't until June. We have our summer camp for the students, high school, middle school. And it was about a week before camp started, and my friend Colby, who I was co-hosting camp with, he was like, dude, you gotta release hot takes. Like you just gotta. For those of you who don't know, that's my song Out, which you'll be hearing references about throughout the. My voice is cracking. Hearing references about throughout the message. So, yeah, he was like, dude, you gotta release it, man. And I was like, he's like, the perfect opportunity. 200 kids get to hear your song. You have your first concert ever already. Like the student pastors wanted me to do it. It was like it'd be great. Every Saturday. Basically, every Saturday at camp, we have Saturday Night Live for the students. So basically, the students and their groups get to choose a skit or something based off the theme for camp. And so they all get to perform, and then we have a halftime show, which Colby did Peaches from the Mario Bros. Movie, and it was pretty legendary. And then I was the closer, and I did hot takes. And couldn't have gone better. Like, it was kind of weird because me and Colby didn't rehearse at all. Colby was basically my hype man up there to just help out. No rehearsal. We did a sound check, but I mean, I don't know. It was pretty dang good. I'm excited about it, as you can tell. I'm smiling, but yeah. So it went well. The kids loved it. That's all I could hear about for the rest of the week, and it was great. And so now we fast forward. So I dropped that, right? I said yes. Okay, pursue music. I heard in November, and it wasn't until June that I actually did it. So now we're going to fast forward basically an exact month. Now we have the Dominican Republic trip, which Jacoby and Kurt were there with me, as well as some others, including Peter, our South Campus pastor, or student pastor here. And this is where it gets nuts. Okay, buckle in, because it's a wild story. So we get there Saturday night, fly in Saturday night into whatever, that I don't remember.
Very gringo now.
Yes, and I accept it. I embrace it. Yeah. So we fly in Saturday night, and Sunday, the next morning, we drove an hour and a half. So the place we were staying was an hour and a half out from the city where we were going to be for most of the week. And so, we get there, we drive in, and then Sunday morning we go to visit the local church who we were going to be working with. We meet the pastor's wife, the pastor, and some of the translators we were going to be with for the week. So, not much going on Sunday. We meet them, come back to the camp. Monday, this is where it gets important. So Monday through Thursday we had the same schedule. In the morning, we would drive an hour and a half to the church, and we would basically, it was called SMT time, Strategic Ministry Time. And basically, the simple way to put it was we were like Jehovah's Witnesses, but like not. We weren't very like, have you heard of Jesus Christ? But basically, we were just talking to people, getting to know people, hearing the stories where they're at, stuff like that. And so we went with the pastor's wife to, I don't remember where the pastor was. He was just not there, but the pastor's wife was. So huh? He had a day job. That's what it was. Thank you. See, this is why you're here. As we're walking through the neighborhood where the church is at, and I don't know, we just got on the topic of music. We're still getting to know everybody, and music is a universal language. So usually that's more on the topic that comes up first. And Peter, who's on the trip with us, started talking about my song. He's like, "Yeah, bro, this guy has a song, Hot Takes." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, kind of embarrassed, like I didn't, it's like, you don't need to announce this, okay? Like it's okay. And then one of our translators, Rudy, Rudy is the GOAT. He was with us this year as well. Some of them went the year before and met Rudy. Rudy was like the ultimate hype man. Like we were homies immediately. So Peter was talking about my song, and Rudy was like, "Oh, really? Like, let me hear it." He's just like an excitable dude. He's like, "Let me hear it. Play the song." So Peter plays the song, and Rudy is just like, just jamming out to it, just getting into it. And he's like catching along already, so he's like trying to sing along. And so we go, one lady invites us into her home. And her house, her house is like maybe our living rooms. To be like, they don't have much. And so they invite us in, there's like 10 or 12 of us in there. And you could tell like she was just feeling really heavy, like she was going through some stuff. And we had found out that she had just fled from Haiti about a year and a half ago. And what I didn't know until I was there was Haiti's basically hell right now. Like it's horrible over there. And it's just a horrible situation. And part of it was because she was feeling so heavy is like she's here, but her family's still back in Haiti. And she's basically alone there. And like you could just feel like kind of just that tension in the room where it was like she was happy that we were there, but like, there's still like didn't really want the company. And so Rudy's like talking to her, we're chatting, we're making small talk, and music gets brought up again, universal language. And then like Rudy and her start they speak Creole over there. So like that's their main one. So they're having this conversation in Creole, and there's no translating going on at this point. And we're all just kind of like looking at each other. And then at one point Rudy goes, whatever in Creole, "No, no, 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 American rapper, no, 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 Noah Marshall, no, 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 Hot Takes." And then we're all like, "What?" And then he looks at me and he's like, "We want you to perform." And I was like, what do you mean perform? I was like, "Do you want me to just play it on the phone?" He's like, no, like we want you to perform. And I was like, "Well, listen, if you want me to perform, I'll perform. Like if that's what you guys want." And so we're just like all in this lady's living room, pretty jam-packed. I get up, I'm putting on the whole performance, I got to do it for the fans. And, just a crazy experience because it's like my first day here. I've already performed for somebody, which is just so random. And then, that's day number one. So now we're on day number two. Okay, it's Tuesday. So Tuesday, basically the same thing. We're walking around the neighborhood. And another lady invites us in, and it's the same thing. We're all in her place, and Rudy's just my biggest fan because Rudy made me perform again for this lady and her kid. And it's just like, I don't know, like it's just so random. And it's like they understand enough. And Rudy would set me up pretty well. He'd like translate and be like, "Well, this is what he's talking about. This is the thing." And so it was great. So Tuesday night. Okay, well, so I'll back up. Monday through Thursday, right, we have the SMT time, but then after that, it's lunch, and then after that, we basically hang out with the kids in the neighborhood. And there's probably on average like 30 to 50 kids that we were with. It was a lot of kids. And so, after that day, Tuesday night, we get back to the compound, which at the compound, there's probably about 50 people staying with us. from different groups, different states, different churches and stuff. And they wanted to do a talent show. And I was like, God, you're great, man. Like, you set me up perfectly. I performed twice already for random people in their homes, and now I get to perform for like 50 people. So, I think sometimes we forget how talented people are. Because there's like everyone that got up, like I was pretty amazed. Like everyone had some pretty good time. I mean, a couple that were just like cringy, and I was like, what are you doing here? But for the most part, people were very, very talented. And so this one guy gets up, and he's like, I'm gonna be playing the piano for you, very like just subtle about it. And then he starts playing Interstellar and Mozart combination, and I kid you not, like completely silent room, like people are completely engaged. And I look over, and this one girl is tearing up, like she's like tearing up. And then like he finishes. The whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, am I gonna be up next? And I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like right after like people are having this beautiful moment with the piano, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be horrible. Luckily though, someone went right before me, which was very nice. And so after everyone applauded and was like, that was so beautiful, this other guy gets up, and while this other guy's performing, this nuke, so like we had already like seen who was on the campus, seen each other around. And then this one group comes up. It's like these middle-aged men, like, 40s, 50s, but they're jacked. They're huge, like huge guys. And it's just like us college and like high school students, and they were out of place. I don't know what they were doing. And so they like sneak into the back of the chapel. We're doing it in a chapel. And so then they sit down and they're there. And then so I do hot takes. It was great, obviously. And then after I was done, I go sit back down. And then one of them gets up. One of the behemoth men get up there. He's like, what's going on, guys? My name's Matt. I'm going to be beatboxing for y'all. And all of us kind of looked at each other like, yeah, right, buddy. Like, what are you going to do? Like, get out. Some of the craziest beatboxing I think we have ever heard. And it was just wild. We were like, where did this guy come from? It's from Santiago. He's actually from Houston, which I'll tell more of the story in a second. So that was Tuesday night. Performances were great. Everyone's talented. Went to bed. Now it's Wednesday morning. So some groups were there Saturday to Saturday, which was us, and some groups were Wednesday to Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, there's groups preparing to leave, but we all ate breakfast together. So I was one of the last ones to breakfast. I went to sleep in, and as I'm walking up, I remember it so vividly. As I'm walking up, everyone is playing my song and singing my song back to me as I'm walking up to breakfast. And I'm like, dude, it's been 7 hours. How did you memorize this already? You should have been sleeping. And everyone's singing back. I'm like, what is going on? And so like as I walk up to this, great morning, like great way to wake up, one of the groups that was leaving, bigger group, it was like 20 of them. They're like, hey, can we get a photo with you real quick? So when you're a celebrity, like we can post it, say we knew you. So I'm like, great. So I took a photo of like 20 people. I don't have it. I should have gotten it. But someone out there has it, and someday when I'm famous, they'll post it and you'll find it. But anyways, so they take the photo, and then I go and say later, and I sit down, and then Matt, the behemoth beatboxer, comes up to me. He's like, yo, first of all, I love your song. I was like, thanks, man. He's like, by the way, I'm not too far from you. I'm in Houston. I have my own beatboxing studio and stuff. Like, here's my number. Hit me up. Let's do something. I was like, all right, deal, Matt. Yeah, I'll let you lay down some beatboxing on my song. So that was Wednesday, right? Wednesday's great. Thursday, it's not over. So Thursday comes, okay? Thursday was our last day with the kiddos in that schedule. And for some weird reason, there's 100 over. I think someone said 150. I don't know if I believe that, but there was definitely over 100 kids there that day for some reason. And by this point, everyone we were with knew my song, and so they were like, you should perform the song for the kids. And I'm like, these kids aren't gonna know what the heck I'm saying, and they hardly speak Creole yet, even. And so like we get them all like in the stands, and Rudy, my homie, like sets me up so perfectly again, and I perform. I got hooked up the Bluetooth speaker, and I started performing for these kids, and they went nuts. They were so loud, and Rudy had set them up perfectly to where like they could they sang along to it already, And so like afterwards, I forget what it was in Creole, but they're saying, encore, encore, again, again. And I'm like, God, okay, I'll do it again. So this is like my 6th performance of the week already. And I just came here to like serve. Like I'm over here like performing on bits and pieces of Dominican Republic. And so, yeah, so then, It was with pineapple. We actually did have pineapple one day. And then that's when everyone went up to me. It's like, pineapple on my pizza. Hot takes. And so, anyways, so we get back to the compound, and one of the other translators, his name was Abdi. Abdi comes up to me and he's like, so he was like, I was on my way home last night, and I was jamming out to your song in my car, and I pull up to the stoplight with it playing, and this guy on a motorcycle pulls up, and the guy on the motorcycle was like, yo, bro, what's that song? And Abdi's like, American rapper Noah Marshall, hot takes. I like how they had to define like American rapper every single time. And he's like, American rapper, hot takes. And so the guy on the motorcycle whipped out his phone, and they both drove off listening to my song. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? Dude, yeah.
You're gonna go back. This is gonna be like, Noah Marshall.
Dude, hot takes. That would be wild.
Well, have people throwing themselves.
Well, so I actually didn't put this in here, but Rudy was telling me that he has I don't know what happened, to be honest. I mean, it was just lack of communication. Rudy has a friend who owns a radio station there in the DR, and he was talking about putting my song up. So, but that hasn't happened. So, oh well, you win some, you lose some. And so, anyways, Friday karaoke. People want to do my song for karaoke. That's the end of the story. But here's the deal: wild stuff. Okay, incredible experience. One I couldn't ever have dreamed up, even with my imagination. And that was just a crazy experience, but it was all because I was just obedient in the very beginning of saying yes, putting it out there, performing at camp, and then all of this happened. It was all just from saying yes. And it wasn't until, I guess I really saw it the night I performed it at camp, but just seeing the fruits of what it means to be obedient. It's obedience that unlocks opportunity. And so after this experience, there was no possible way I couldn't be grateful. It was just so incredible. I was big smiley all day, every day, and it was just because of how good God was. And so after the DR experience, I had realized something. And this is kind of something I put into practice, and you guys have heard me say it. But just, it's always no until you ask. That's kind of my motto. People are afraid to ask for things. And so, which I'll get to that in a second, but after that whole experience in the DR, I would just simply give thanks to God. Every night before bed, when I woke up, in the car, throughout the day, just giving thanks for everything from the clouds to even just being alive, being able to breathe, which, by the way, everyone take a deep breath. Be thankful you did that. Be thankful you got here safely. Be thankful you got 2 legs, 2 feet. I'm pretty sure everyone does. Be thankful you can see, you can hear, right? You have things that other people do not have. So be thankful for those things. And by the way, it just feels good. It just feels good to be thankful. It just overall boosts your mood. Why would you not want to be, practice that, And so anyways, along with giving thanks, I would simply ask for opportunity. Again, every night, morning, throughout the day, I would just simply ask for opportunity. We see this in the book of Matthew. There's a verse that I'm sure everyone has heard. It says, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. You heard it in my story, just how seeking and saying yes to an opportunity that God has placed in front of you can lead to something wonderful. But on the other side of the yeses, there are no's. Opportunities will be placed in front of you to say no, which we're actually speaking on next week. And sometimes you have to say no. I wasn't originally going to give this example, but screw it, I'll do it. So I had an opportunity with my song, Outtakes, or just with music, I guess. It was actually a relative. They work for a erectile dysfunction company. And they had heard my song. And they were like, hey, would you like to do something for us? And I was like, thanks, but no thanks. I don't think that's what I want my first sponsorship being, but I appreciate it. So sometimes you got to say no. But another example of this, just to show you guys like what I'm talking about. Can you play this clip from Yes Man? So don't say yes to that. Please say no. Don't be like him. Like, I don't want to see you guys in jail, and I don't want to have to bail you out. So please don't do that. But again, there's discernment. There's discernment in those opportunities that come up, and sometimes you got to say no. I want to share another example of saying yes, but more specifically, how you might not see the fruits of being obedient and saying yes until later. So 2 weeks after summer camp, they did this big thing where it was like a double-decker boat on the lake for the students. And a lot of kids there, a lot of people. It was like 70 people on that boat. And it'd be kids that would walk by. I was like, I didn't even know you were here, bro. Like, there's so many people. And so at one point, it's like Peter and Rudy just got me, man. Peter starts playing my song over the speakers on the boat. And a few minutes later, this guy comes up to me, some middle-aged guy I've never seen before in my life. Didn't even know he was on the boat. He walks up to me, and he's like, yo, are you Noah Marshall? I was like, yes, sir. He was like, I heard you were a famous rapper. And at first I like paused and I was like, huh? But then I was like, yeah, I am. Very nice to meet you. How you doing? And so like we started talking for like 45 minutes, I think. He was telling me like how he's been a DJ for like 20 years. He used to have this radio segment. He just got back into it. And the reason he came up to me was when my song started playing, his daughter, who was there, she was like, Dad, did you know that the guy that sings this song is on this boat? And he was like, no, you're joking.
That's not how it happened.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
She Shazammed it and went, Noah Marshall. Who is that? And then I went, oh, it's the ginger over there. And I pointed at you.
I was lied to this whole time?
I was the one who sent him to you.
What?
The truth comes out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the truth comes out to me too. I didn't know that. Why didn't you say anything?
Doesn't really change the story that much.
That's true, it doesn't. What the heck, man? You ruined it.
But it was more epic when he was still.
Sure. No. Another time, later. And so, anyways, whatever. He comes up to me. We're talking for like 45 minutes, and he's just telling me, I won't say his name, but because 2 Saturdays from that day, or like in a couple Saturdays, he's like, yeah, I'm doing a gig. I'm getting paid $6,000 for 4 hours of DJing. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? $1,500 an hour? He's like, yeah. I'm like, wow, like that's fantastic. And I had realized that I had planned my birthday party the day before, so I said, hey, how would you like to DJ at my birthday party for free? I'm not paying no $6,000. How would you like to DJ for free? He was like, yeah, man, absolutely, sure, yeah. He's like, just shoot me the details. Here's my number. I was like, sweet. So he came and DJ'd at my party, and I got to like know him better. Me and him just hit it off. He's the homie, man. He's just so cool. And so fast forward to a few weeks ago, I wake up to a call from him. DJ. Oh, I almost said his name. I woke up to a call from him, and he's like, I didn't answer because I just woke up, and so he texted me. And he's like, dude, answer your phone, call me back. He's like, he talks like a. It's cool. He stays young. He stays young is what I'm trying to say. And so I call him back, and he's like, dude, what are you doing from 8 to 10 tonight? I'm like, I don't got nothing going on right now. He's like, great, I'm in Dallas today. I have a DJing gig from like 8 to 10. You want to DJ for me? What? Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. Never DJed before in my life. I mean, I've MC'd and stuff, but I've never DJed before. And he's like, yeah, just like I'll give you the code to my garage. You just come pick up the equipment. You got it. I was like, yeah, you're right. I'll figure it out. And he's like, yeah, I'll pay you $300 to do it. And I was like, great, I'm definitely in. Thank you very much. And so, yeah, like I just by me taking, it's so simple, it's so small and seems insignificant, but just by having a conversation with him, asking him to DJ at my party, like getting his contact info and him just reaching out to me and saying yes to that, which, by the way, I could have said no. Like, that's the biggest thing. I could have said no to driving all the way out in North. It's like an hour and 15 minutes away. Never DJ'd before. So I could have let all these reasons stop me from saying yes. Just, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. And I would have never done it. And I would have never got paid $300 or had an experience under my belt. So I did. The lady texted me and was like, wow, he was fantastic. I'll show you the screenshots if you don't believe me. And so, yeah, it wasn't until a couple months later that I actually saw how that connection was fruitful. And who knows, maybe he'll hook me up, put me on a radio station, who knows, but I have that connection now. And I want to take a closer look. Can we go back to the Matthew slide? I'm going to take a closer look at when it says, seek and you will find. Because as much as God places these opportunities in front of us, we also have to be looking for those moments in order to even take action on them. And so some of you may have heard of the red car theory, which the red car theory is the idea that if you're looking for a red car, you're more likely to notice them. Seems pretty straightforward, but it doesn't just apply to a red car, a blue car, a black car, whatever it is. It also applies to these opportunities that we're talking about. And I've noticed that the more I'm consistent in prayer, like when I pray for these opportunities and to just be able to say yes to these things, the more I'm consistent about it when I pray at night, in the morning, throughout the day, I'm more likely to be aware of those moments. And obviously, as you've heard so far, they're pretty great. So I'm going to share one last story with you. And the reason I'm sharing these stories is just to lay out the example. Like, I have kind of made this my mission. If you spend enough time around me, you know this is pretty much my mission right now, is to just say yes to everything with discernment and not doing ED, commercials. And so, anyways, just setting that up. And so, hot takes is what I'm going with. That's the theme here, which I've had honestly too many stories, it seems like, and I really had to pick and choose. So, hot takes, music video. Okay, about a month ago, I went and I filmed my music video for Hot Takes. So I was meeting Colton Rogers, which Colton Rogers works here at the church, and I met him here at Gateway. And as I was on my way here, I was just talking to God. I was like, pretty much how my conversations go verbatim. I was like, God, listen, man, you set me up so perfectly so far. Like, let's keep it going, man. Like, give me something today. I'm filming my music video. Show me something. So I get here to the church, and it's a Tuesday at like 1, so the parking lot's pretty empty. It's like the far side that's full, and so I pull up, and I meet with Colton, and lo and behold, there's a red Ferrari just sitting there for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I do it? And which, by the way, there's never been a Ferrari or any supercar of that caliber ever in the parking lot of this parking lot. I've been here for 8 years. I've never seen that. Huh? It is pretty janky. Yeah, it's pretty ghetto. But anyways, so I see the Ferrari. I go up to Colton. I'm like, dude, get the camera ready. We're doing this. I was like, I don't know whose this is. I don't know when they're coming out, but let's film this. And so I changed into my fit for it, my 90s fit, because that was the theme. And we got a whole take with it. But at the end of that first take, you'll actually see it in the music video. It's the last scene with it. I look over to the side and I start laughing because I see him walking up. And I know that it's him because there's no other cars on this side of the parking lot. It's just that Ferrari. And I see him walking up to me and I start laughing. And Colton doesn't know because he's not facing. And so the guy walks up. He's just standing there waiting for us to finish. But actually enjoying it. He was just kind of no, yeah, he was so cool. It's just a average Joe, middle-aged guy, and he's just standing there. And so we finished the take, and he's like, yo, what y'all filming for? This looks like a lot of fun. And I was just caught off by surprise because I'm just here dancing around this Ferrari, and he was just so chill about it. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, we're filming a music video, and he's like, oh, that sounds really cool. He's like, I would totally let you guys use this for more, but I got to rush off to work. So sorry, guys. And I was like, oh, you're good. I got a whole take with it anyway, as long as you're good. Which I kind of missed an opportunity there because I totally could have got his contact info for later. Because he was just so cool. I freaking love that guy. I talked to him for 1 minute. But anyways, that was the first part of the day. So after we got the take with the Ferrari, we're on our way to this kind of old school bar diner area. And we were going with the 90s theme. And as we're on our way to the diner, we're spitballing ideas in the car. We're like, what else should we have in it? And we're like, oh, a basketball court, kind of like Fresh Prince style would be cool. And we were like looking up inspiration, and some guy did a whole music video in a shopping cart, and I was like, that would be sick. Let's just hop in a shopping cart and do something. And then there was a school bus behind us when we were on the way. And I was like, it'd be cool to have a school bus. And so we go, and this bar is like in the middle of, or is like in a part of East Austin that's like, there's two nice places, and then the rest is just kind of sitting there waiting to be gentrified. Like you were just, yeah, it's starting. And so there's like nothing out there, and across from the bar is just this random lot, like just concrete really. And so we used that as a parking lot, but right next to that, what is there waiting for me? A basketball court, a school bus, and a shopping cart, all sitting right there, right in front of this place we're about to be filming at. And I was just going, what the heck is going on? And so, yeah, like we got out the car, did all my basketball shots, did the shopping cart, which wasn't as cool as we thought it was. That's why you won't see the music video. And the basketball and the school bus shot, and then we went into the diner, and the other people, the social media people for that diner were there, and they were super cool. And me and Colton have a cameo on their Instagram, just cheers and stuff. And then right next to that was the house that was pretty much the opening scene, but it was like, God said, look no further, buddy. Here's everything you need. And I was just like, this is insane. This is insane. I mean, what are the odds that all of this are in one spot like that? And it's like, you know, me and Colton, we could have not even bothered filming in front of that Ferrari. Could have been like, oh, well, you know, I don't know who this is. I don't know when they're coming out. Like, maybe we shouldn't film in front of someone else's car. But no, I took that opportunity. And honestly, taking action is sometimes the hardest part. And so I want us to ask, though, like, why? Why is that the hardest part? Why is taking action so hard? Are we afraid of the rejection that might come? Just being told no? Are we so afraid of being told no that we're missing out on the opportunities on the other side if they say yes? Like, why? What are we so afraid of? Are we afraid of being inadequate? I don't care if it's like, you know, for a job, or if we're like, hey, let's go bowling, and you're like, I don't really know how to bowl. Let's not go bowling. Just go bowling. Who cares? You're there to have fun. And who knows? Maybe there's someone got places for you at the bowling alley, and instead you're just sitting lonely because you didn't want to hang out with friends because you suck at bowling. You know? Just the hard truth. Like, why are we afraid of that? Are we afraid of what the world will think? What others will think? Our friends, our family? Like, why can't we just take action? We as Christ followers don't play by the same rules as the world. The world wants us to make us believe that we can't go talk to this person, or we can't do this, or we can't film in front of this Ferrari, or you know, whatever it is. Like, the world tries to stop us from that and what the world says. And in order to live the life that God has for you, a life that is good, you must learn to say yes to God and the things that He places in your life. Not yes to your plans or the plans of the world, but yes to the God who created it. And in doing so, you'll experience the blessings just as I have shared. It's obedience that unlocks opportunity. In 2 Corinthians, my favorite book of the Bible, or one of, in 3:17 it says, now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom. His Spirit lives in us, and there's no reason, literally no reason, why anyone or anything in this world should stop us from doing anything. Anything is possible through Him. There's no reason to listen to the world, to people telling you can't do this, Instagram telling you can't be like this. Whatever it is, get over it. And to help you remember that, okay, I've created what I call the 4 G's, the 4 gets. Number 1, get out of the house. You can't experience what God has for you if you're not out there looking. You can't. Just like, I'm forgetting his name, Jim Carrey in the movie. In the very beginning, he's not experiencing anything because he's just going home and watching Netflix all night. You can't experience anything in the world or what God has for you if you're just inside all day and doing nothing. Number 2, get off your phone. Get off your phone. Look up and look around. Stop looking on Instagram, comparing to what others are posting or doing. Get off your phone. And even if you get out of your house and you go outside, this is your own little world. Okay, if you're outside and you're still on your phone, you can't experience anything. So get off your phone, live life presently, hang up and hang out. Okay? Number 3, get out of your head. Get out of your head. A lot of times, everyone is stopped and you limit yourselves because you make things up that aren't true. Little scenarios of what ifs that just stop you from taking any action at all. Simple. Number 4, okay, get out your own mother heckin' way. Just move out of the way. Quit making excuses or reasons to why you're not good enough or why you can't take action. Just do it. Just do it. You make it harder on yourself. If you think you can or you can't, you're right. It's that simple. And if you can't say yes to the small things, all the little things in your everyday lives, how can you say yes to the big things, right? Some of us want big things, but we aren't faithful with the little things. And chapter 16 of Luke says exactly that. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. If God can't trust us to be faithful with the little things, why would he introduce us to bigger ones? Same goes for you and I. If I can't trust you with the little things, I'm not going to trust you with the big ones. Plain and simple. And so I want to leave you with this. It's obedience that unlocks opportunity. Say yes to God, and I promise you, you will experience his goodness and joy like no other, just as I have. So to close, I would like to invite Connor up for a very special song request, one of my favorite songs ever, by John Mayer. And after that, I want us to split into small groups of 3 to 4, and I want us to spend 15 minutes of intentional time answering these questions. What is God telling you to say yes to in your life? What is God telling you to say yes to in your life? And what have you been saying no to because of the expectations of this world and of others?